4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening, and together make a beautiful life. And if you wanna see, then come along with me, that's right.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Experience Michiana. This evening we are out at Central Park in Mishawaka for a concert, and it's going to be a wonderful concert. And listen, it's time for you to get out because summer is surely coming to a close in Michiana. So you want to make sure that you enjoy it while it's still here. And speaking of enjoy, we're headed over to the Morris Performing Arts Center to find out all about Morris 100 Fest. And then we're going to find out about the Gifts of the Sea with Cynthia Cooper at Fire Arts. But right now we're headed to where the concert is going to be happening for a little bit of shake, rattle, and roll. You'll get that when you see it. We have experienced a lot of things on Experience Michiana, but we have never done belly dancing. But we are going to do it today. This is Ruby, and she is the artistic director of Sisters of the Nile. And Ruby, you're actually here at Central Park in Mishawaka because you have a concert this evening.
We have a concert this evening. It is the third Thursday of the month, and Mishawaka businesses have put together Third Thursday in the Mish, and they invited us to be a part of it today, and we're going to be on that beautiful stage that they have here this evening in front of this beautiful lawn, and we're going to do an hour show, and I have 11 dancers coming out of my 14-member troupe this evening to dance with me, and we're going to do dances of the Middle East, and we are doing kind of a nightclub style venue tonight, and it's all glitter and sparkle and dance and movement. Yeah.
By the way, you look gorgeous. I want that outfit.
Oh, well, we'll talk.
Okay, we'll talk
I'll
about
loan
that.
it to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I will take that.
Okay.
I will take that. But Ruby, how did you get started in Middle Eastern dance?
Well, I was a youth program director at the YWCA in South Bend, and at that time, they had a belly dance class around the corner from my office, and I listened to that music, and that really pulled me, and I was really mesmerized by it. And I went into that class kind of doubtful because I had never danced before, and it was love at first. The first time I tried it, and it was a bunch of women gallivanting around in costuming and having a wonderful time. And the first time I went in a sweatsuit, but soon I tailored that down, and now I'm wearing the full costumes and dancing with my students that are coming in because they hear the music and see the sound and motion.
Now, how long has Sisters of the Nile been around here in South Bend?
Well, we were called Semi-Precious Stones in the beginning, and I have been dancing since 1978.
I do that too now.
Yeah. The troupe of Sisters of the Nile grew out of the Semi-Precious Stones, and that has been around probably over 30 years.
Wow, that's great.
I was very young when I started.
Yes, you were. You were a baby, Ruby.
That's right.
Now, this is not just about dance. This is really about bringing women together and empowering them as well.
It is very important to me that women understand that they can do this dance. They can come and dance with us. They can feel safe in our environment. They can bring their mothers, they can bring their sisters, they can bring their daughters, and we even have gentlemen come and dance with us too. And we just have a wonderful time. We're all colors, shapes, sizes, ages, and we all embrace it together. And it's a sisterhood, and that's why we're called Sisters of the Nile. And it's just so welcoming, and it's a community. It's a sisterhood.
You know, and that's so rare because a lot of times when people dance, you have to be a certain body type. You have to be a certain height, you have to be a certain weight, and an age as well. So I love that it's open to anyone and everyone.
In this dance, it's like a fine bottle of wine. As each dancer improves with age and mellows a little bit, and that adds to what we're doing. A younger dancer might be more of a firecracker dancer, and an older dancer is going to be very classical in their movements and soft and mellow, but we all, it's coming from our heart. And you know, we dance to the drums a lot, as you know, as you do in your dance too, Kelly. And that drum comes from our heartbeat. You know, that's where it first came. And so it's in our heart, and that's where we're moving from. And it's just, it gets in under your skin. It's part of your DNA. We all can do it. There's nobody who cannot. Someone once told me that I could teach a door to dance.
Okay, well, we're going to try that right now.
Okay. All right, well, you're not a door.
No, but I have never done it. And you know, I've seen you dance and I've seen your troupe, and it is so, it's mesmerizing and it's so beautiful. But I don't even know if I can move like that, but we're going to try
I
today.
think you can. So I brought something for you.
Okay.
I brought you a little sash,
Woo!
and I'm going to put this around your hips because this is called belly dance. We really didn't talk about why it's called belly dance, but this dance came out of the Middle East. It was first seen in the United States in Chicago, and at the World's Fair in 1893.
1893?
1893,
Wow.
an entrepreneur from San Francisco, his name was Saul Bloom, brought Little Egypt in and Middle Eastern dance into the United States, and they called it belly dancing. It's this raqs sharqi is the Arabic word for it. It is a dance of celebration, and every single ethnic group has a celebration. If you go to a Polish wedding, you do a polka. If you go to an Egyptian wedding, there will be a belly dancer. And came into this country, and people saw the dancing, and we undulate. And when we undulate, you see the midsection moving. And people saw the belly moving, but it wasn't really the belly. It is a dance that involves the whole body. But we're just going to push our hips around and forward and back and do a hip circle.
Okay.
All right? And then we're just going to slide our hips side to side. Now, if we take our knees and bend and straighten them, we start to do a shimmy. So let's pick it up. Let's pick it up.
Okay.
A little faster. Knee, 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 knee. We have shoulder shimmies, and then we have undulations. So we're going to go out, up, back, and down, out, up, back, and down. All right, and do another circle around.
Nice. Now, I see, what are these props
Okay,
here?
so I brought some props with me too. We're going to today do what I call my candle dance, but it's light out, so it wouldn't be able to be seen, lights from the candles. So we're going to do it with flowers today, and we're going to do pharaonic movement with these in our hands.
Very nice.
We have a dance that's going to be done with finger cymbals that are called sagat, and if you stick around and see a little bit later, I won't put them on. They get very best, takes a little bit of time, but they are played with our hands and we keep the rhythm. And then we have two dances tonight.
Okay.
With this
How
lovely
do you
piece.
dance with that?
This is our sword. It weighs 2.5 pounds. The secret, I'm going to let you know, is that it's not real sharp, although you can cut yourself, but it is made for balancing. So I've got it in this balance point, and we balance it on our head, we balance it on our shoulders, we can balance it on our hip, we can take it around and up and over, and you'll see that in the dances that we do. But we actually make a divot in our head by letting the sword sit there. So if you come to our shows and you see us standing around like this, there's a purpose for it. It is making a little dent in the soft spot of your head, which helps us keep it on. That's another secret. And so that when we're moving, it stays in place as we move around.
So you're doing all of that?
All of that with this
on
here.
Your head.
As a matter of fact, when someone
gosh.
learns to dance with the sword, I ask them to do my whole warm-up with the sword on there. Go home and don't come back till you can do the whole
Until you
warm-up
can
with
do
that
that.
sword on your head. Yeah, which they learn in class.
Now, the great thing is that women that are watching and men can experience Sisters of the Nile. How can they become a part of what you're doing?
Well, they can reach me through the Battelle Center in Mishawaka. If you want to leave my information, or if they can reach you as well.
Sure,
we can do that.
it'll be right on the bottom of the screen.
Okay, great. And they can call me right now. Because of COVID, I am limiting the size of classes. I don't even have to advertise right now because it's popular and one person tells another. But we're at the Battelle Center on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock, and it is open to everyone to come and experience it with us.
And all levels, beginners to
All
advanced.
levels. It is a multi-level class geared for the beginner Wednesday nights. And then you can learn more about us and what we do and when we perform, and how you can become a part of that performance also when you come to those classes.
All right, well, Ruby, how about we dance out? Can I take the flowers?
Yes.
And then you want to keep the sword on your head?
Well, I didn't get my dent, but I can try.
All right, let's try. Hold on. Kelsey, you can put some music over it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ruby.
So we're just going to lift and lift and lift and lift and do that shimmy
Jimmy.
and a little circle.
Oh, circle.
All right, and bring it up and then we're going to do a little undulation. And then just take a step hip and follow me out the door.
Oh, okay.
A staple in our community for the performing arts, the Morris Performing Arts Center is celebrating 100 years. This is a big event, and I have with us Jane, who's going to share a bit about this project. You guys have been working on this for a while. What's been going on here at the Morris?
Yeah, so for the last 3 months, we've been dark. We have not had any shows here because we are renovating the interior of the building. And what that means is we tore out all the seats in the theater and the floor, the main floor of the theater, which was 100 years old and beginning to crumble, causing some safety issues that we were really starting to get concerned about. So with all that, we're getting new seating. We have a whole new floor on the main floor of the theater. And then some of the upgrades that you might see in your own home after 20 years of, or your last renovation, which includes a new roof, new HVAC, heating and cooling, and just those very important things that we need to be structurally sound here.
Absolutely, and maintaining this beautiful space that's been in our community for so long.
Yeah.
Now you guys are incorporating this along with Best Week Ever, which is coming up here soon, putting on your Morris 100 Fest. What is that all about?
So Best Week Ever starts, I want to say September 24th, it runs a full week, and then September 30th and October 1st, which is the last Friday and Saturday of Best Week Ever, is Morris Fest, and that is our big birthday party.
Okay,
where we
so
are
this is time to celebrate.
Yeah,
we're doing it now.
That's right. That's our celebration.
Okay.
That's our big celebration for the year. We will have it'll be a free event outside of the Morris. So we'll close down a couple streets out here. We're going to have 3 stages, a bunch of local music out front, food trucks. There'll be beer and wine tents. We've got a silent disco. We've got.
Oh, wait, okay. What you have to explain what a silent disco
silent
is.
disco.
Okay.
Okay, so a silent disco is really cool. You get three or four DJs, and they all are playing music on a channel, like you would almost a radio.
Sure.
And then every participant gets a headphone set, and they can tune into which channel they want to listen to.
Cool.
And so when you look at it, you're seeing all these people in headsets dancing, but it's quiet. And they're all listening to different music. It's really
I've
it's
heard
really
about it.
a
I've never
neat
seen
thing
it in
to see.
action.
Yeah.
I love that you guys brought this here.
Yeah, it's really a neat thing to see. Of course, we're going to have a Ferris wheel out front.
Amazing.
Which is,
a Ferris, like here in downtown South Bend,
a Ferris wheel in downtown, which is going to be awesome.
Is that happening both Friday and Saturday?
Correct, Friday and Saturday. So we'll open our gates Friday at 5 p.m. We'll go to about 10:30 on Friday, and then we'll reopen 9:30 a.m. on Saturday and go all day, ending on Saturday night with a fireworks show. They're calling it a pyro musical. So there'll be music incorporated with the fireworks show, which should be a lot of fun.
I love that. And you said most of that's free. Are there any ticketed events that somebody might need to purchase tickets ahead of time for?
Yeah, so Saturday night, October 1st, inside the Morris, we're having our grand reopening show, and that is the Bare Naked Ladies. And so that is a ticketed event.
Okay.
So you can purchase tickets online, morriscenter.org, and there are still tickets available. So, definitely get your tickets if you want to come. But you will get to experience everything out front for free. Of course, food and drink are purchased.
Perfect.
But the entertainment, there'll be some, art, interactive stuff going on out there. All of that is free for our community to come celebrate with us.
That's an amazing, and of course, we're so grateful for you guys being in the community this long. What are some of your favorites that have come through these doors in the past 100 years?
Well, the Morris has housed so many different styles of entertainment. I mean, we've got rock bands, comedy shows, children's theater. We have our Broadway series every year. Of course, we all love the big Broadway shows, The Wickeds, The Lion King. All of those are just,
I think we came and saw Wicked like 3 times.
Did you?
We love that one.
It's an awesome show that we really hope to have back sometime soon. Same with The Lion King. I know a lot of people were disappointed when we had to close due to the pandemic, and that was right in the middle of our Lion King run. And we're still talking to them. We want them to come back.
I think we were actually at the last performance
Were you?
before things got shut down for COVID for Lion King. So it's certainly an incredible performance. But
It is,
having
yeah.
something like this in the community, obviously it's been here for 100 years, but why is it important to have something like the Morris Performing Arts Center here?
Well, I think, it's economic driver downtown. So when you come to see a show, you might be also getting a hotel room, or you might be eating at one of the local restaurants down here, bringing people downtown and getting to experience live entertainment, and helping the businesses down here is a big deal. I mean, we want to always be here, and that's part of our 100-year fundraising effort, is to plan for our future.
Absolutely. And it's looking gorgeous in here. I know we're getting a little sneak peek down there. They're touching up some of the things.
There's a little clink clanking happening right now, but that's all right. Yeah, so we're still plugging away at construction, but we do plan to be opening our doors October 1st, so for our first show.
Well, I'm so excited for you guys, and I know there's more stuff coming up even after this. You want to just kind of give us a little hint of what's coming up next?
Regarding the, the
next events that are coming.
This fall we've got a huge calendar ahead of us coming this fall. After our next show, after our grand reopening, is West Side Story, which we're doing with both South Bend Civic and the Symphony Orchestra, South Bend Symphony Orchestra.
So exciting for that one.
So that'll be really awesome to get to collaborate with them. And then we've got our Broadway series starting with the Book of Mormon. And we've got another.
Dear Evan Hansen is
Dear
coming.
Evan Hansen is coming. Yes, that'll be next April. So we have a great Broadway lineup this year,
awesome.
And really full programming for this fall through December. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, for those events and for the Morris Fest that's going to be happening here at the end of September 30th and October 1st, where can people get that information? Where's the best place for them to go to get the lineup?
MorrisCenter.org. Yep. When you go to our website, the first thing you're going to see is Morris 100 Fest. Okay. And you just click that button. There's a schedule, there's a map, there's,
Oh, great. Oh, so is it all happening out here on the plaza? Mm-hmm. It is. Okay,
yeah.
So where's the best place for people to park?
So any of the city garages I would recommend. Okay. The Main Street Garage, the Layton Garage, the Wayne Street Garage, any of the garages will be available. It'll be a couple blocks walk, but it's not that far.
And I know you're putting new chairs in the Morris, but people need to bring their own chair for outside.
They certainly can. Yeah, okay. We will have some seating.
Are you going to pull out the old chairs?
No.
that too?
We are bringing in some sort of unique seating that'll be out there, but people are definitely welcome to bring their own folding chairs or blankets or whatever they're most comfortable. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited for this. I'm so grateful that you guys have been here for 100 years. It really is such an important piece of history here in Michiana.
Yes, certainly. We're happy to be here, and we hope to be here for another 100 years.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane.
It's not often you meet someone who says, this is my best job ever, except of course Dave, Courtney, and I, right? We love doing what we do. But Cynthia Cooper, so glad that you could be with us. And again, it's not often you meet someone that says, this is my best job, but this is your best job.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, by far.
So tell us how you got started in the creative arts.
All my life. I remember when I was in kindergarten doing it, and so it's always been, that's been it. Mm-hmm. I was going to do it, but in 8th grade I touched the clay, and when I touched the clay, that was it. I knew that was where I wanted to go. Then I went to college and studied it, and then I thought, okay, let's go ahead and teach it. And was really fortunate to start in Dallas and be able to teach ceramics. Then moved back home to Indiana and taught for 24 years at Goshen High School. And then now, not even giving it up and doing it full time as an artist.
That is fantastic. Now, what was it about the clay for you?
I think the tactile qualities, and it's a mix between sculpture and vessels, and that whole idea of having things. It's very important for me to have things that I can touch and make with my hands. Even a paintbrush gives distance. But when I can just touch it with my hands,
it makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference to me. I mean, that's how I am. That's how I like to work.
Well, Cynthia has an amazing exhibit here at Fire Arts, and you can see all of the artwork in the background. It is just absolutely gorgeous, and it really is all about gifts of the sea, which you captured wonderfully. But how did this exhibit all begin?
I did a Lilly grant in 2014 after I learned how to scuba dive, after I started taking students to the Florida Keys. And what I found was I wanted to learn how to photograph work underwater. Or like when I'd go scuba diving, I wanted to learn how to photograph what I saw so that I could get it on my pieces. Mm-hmm. And technically that's how I was, but then what I began to see over the years was how the reefs are changing and getting in bad shape. So my idea was that my gift is art, and I could share the beauty of the reefs and by making large pieces, so it kind of looks like a scuba dive trip around the piece. And then what happens is people really enjoy seeing that, and they understand my passion. And most people believe that we need to change the world, and that's my way of sharing that.
Now, how did you create the pieces? Because so you took a photograph of it, and now you bring the photograph into the studio as you're working with the clay.
I'm going to explain that on the 7th of October here.
Okay, October 7th. I'm sure you, along with myself, want to know how this all came about. So you'll have to come here October 7th for the gallery talk with Cynthia. Yeah. But so you came back.
Let me try and make it quick.
Okay.
So I start with forms, and then I work with my photographs. I look through my photographs. I've got thousands of underwater photographs. And then I take the shape or the form of the piece and try to think, how can I pull people around? Mm. I used to work very small, and that didn't work as well with these dive pieces. Now I have fantasy creatures that I do that are small, but for the pieces that look like a scuba dive, I felt like they need to be big, because when you go under, everything's big around you. And then getting the form of the piece is the beginning, and then I capture the photographs onto the piece, and then I carve for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and so it's like 2 weeks to make the piece, 2 weeks to carve the piece, and then a couple more weeks to fire it and to glaze it.
How long did it take you to make this collection?
Well, this collection's interesting because I had a bad experience in the beginning of the summer, and I overcame that because somebody ran into my studio with their car, and I lost 30 pieces.
Oh my gosh.
So this is a culmination of several years. My expectation original, 9 of the pieces are new within the last year. But one piece I can get done in about 4 to 6 weeks. So, a lot of these pieces were from prior. I'm not really answering your question.
No,
exactly.
You definitely answered the question. I mean, and there's so much that we could talk about with each piece because it is exquisite. Right. And I know there's a story behind each piece. But let's talk about this one right here. Can you tell us what is the title of this piece and what was the inspiration as well?
Well, this one is one of my favorites.
I love it. Yeah, I do too.
And it's called Gratitude.
Oh.
And I feel very fortunate that I've gotten the opportunity to do this and that we can see this. I remember the first time I went under with my daughter scuba diving, and it was like it took our breath, both of us, it took our breath away to see this, because you can't tell what's down there when you go, and to see this. But so also there's turtles on many of my pieces, and I have a thing about sea turtles. I just love them, and I love their lives, that they work so hard to get where they are. I mean, there's most of them don't live. So if they live, they can come back. And then there's stories about different countries. Like I learned in Barbados that they taught their children how to swim. A lot of kids didn't know how to swim, and then what happened was the kids said, "Don't eat those sea turtles, Mom and Dad." So that it was like the children taught the parents.
Oh.
Do you love that?
Yeah, that is
I just
beautiful.
love that. And so I have a lot of pieces that have sea turtles on them. And then the cuts in the pieces, in this particular piece, has to do with bringing out the form, but it's also, this is called negative space. And you know, the idea of negativity of what's happening to our coral reefs kind of is brought out by those cuts. So there's a little bit of a literal bend there. The form on this one, though, is kind of just a very classic form. Some of the pieces are classic, some of them aren't. I studied ancient Chinese bronzes when I was in college, and I think that comes out in my work often.
Well, it is absolutely beautiful,
Thank
and
you.
I tell you, you really want to come and see it in person because
makes a difference.
it makes a big difference. I'm so glad that everybody's watching, but I know it doesn't do it justice. You definitely have to come. Now, how long is this exhibit here until?
It's going to be here until October 28th.
Okay.
And I'm really excited to meet people from this area, because I've met a lot of people, but I want to get to know more people, because I think, you know, showing it in different areas, you get to know what the people are interested in. I had a long talk with a woman that came in here one day when I was setting up, and it was almost like life-changing for her to come in and see, because she could relate to scuba diving, and so we often talk about that. Sometimes we talk about marine biology, and then most of the time I spend talking about art, but there's just all of that together.
Well, that is wonderful. Cynthia, thank you so much. I mean, your art truly is a gift, and I'm so glad that our community is going to be able to experience that gift. But also, I love the title, Gifts of the Sea, because you help us remember that the sea is a gift.
Yes, it is.
And we don't ever want to take that for granted.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Experience Michiana. And remember, everything that you see on this show, whether it's dancing, whether it's restaurants, festivals, art, you can be a part of it as well. So get on out and enjoy the very best that Michiana has to offer.
Experience Michiana is made possible in part by the Community Foundation of St. Joseph County and the Indiana Arts Commission, which receives support from the state of Indiana and the National Endowment for the Arts.
This WNIT local production has been made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.